Hi, I'm Jasmine Gorse and I want to discuss the history of special education law in order to help parents, caretakers, guardians, those with disabilities, and educators understand the current guidelines, practices, and laws involving teaching the exceptional student. It is important to understand the history of education in order to truly understand our current laws, policies, and guidelines. Though there have been many laws enacted and amended, I'm going to focus on the ones that had the largest impact on special education in order to help individuals and parents understand their rights and help obtain resources that are available. I'm going to begin with the early steps in education law. Prior to 1954, there were no laws ensuring the education of those with disabilities. In 1954, Brown v. the Board of Education recognized that any individual, no matter their gender, race, or ability, had the right to an education. However, this did not mandate special education programs. It was not until the 1970s that special education law began to make headway and programs became mandatory. In 1973, the Rehabilitation Act was passed, and Section 504 had the greatest impact on special education. Section 504 stated that any facility receiving federal funding had to be accommodated and accepting of individuals with disabilities. In 1975, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act was passed, better known as Public Law 94 through 142. This act mandated education for all children with disabilities and special needs. In 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed. This act further protected individuals with disabilities and stated that any facility, whether they were receiving federal funding or not, had to be accommodated and had to accept all individuals no matter their ability. This act has been further amended. For example, in 2016, the definition for disability was broadened in order to protect all individuals. Public Law 94 through 142 has made great progress and is better known as the IDEA Act, or the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. IDEA mandated education and ensured that all individuals with disabilities received a free and appropriate education and ensured that individuals were placed in the least restrictive environment. This helped ensure that no one was being cast out or held back due to their varying abilities. The IDEA Act was further amended to ensure the education of all individuals with disabilities from the ages 3 to 21 and ensured that individuals had access to infants and toddlers from birth till 2. Throughout the history of special education, there have been many court cases that have solidified the rights of individuals and parents that have been outlined in these various acts and laws. Two cases to mention are the Board of Education of Hendrick Hudson Central School District versus Rowley, and Doug C. v. the Hawaii Department of Education. In 1982, Amy Rowley's parents had requested a full-time interpreter due to the fact that their daughter had been deaf since birth. They wanted an interpreter to help her be more social in class, understand what was going on, and be able to interact with her peers and teachers. The school had determined that because she was passing her classes, she was receiving sufficient resources. This case was eventually brought to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court received that Amy was not receiving an appropriate education due to the fact that not all services were being provided. This case broadened the required services that is provided to individuals with disabilities and ensure that their education is appropriate. In 2013, a father, Doug, was not included in his son's IEP meeting due to the fact that he could not make it. The school held the IEP meeting anyway because everyone else was there. In a follow-up meeting, Doug did not agree with the decisions that had been made and declined the IEP. All of his claims had been denied, And after he appealed the decision, the Ninth Circuit Court had ruled that all parents must be included in IEP and the IEP process. If they are not, then the IEP is not in compliance. This case helped enforce the parental rights to be included in their educational decisions of their child. Since there are so many laws and decisions being made, there are various resources that parents and caregivers have access to stay current on the special education laws and news. One resource in Maryland is the Maryland Disability Law Center. This is a nonprofit law firm that helps ensure the rights of individuals with disabilities and helps protect these individuals as well. Another resource for parents to stay current on education, law, and news is the Special Education newspaper. This is an online newspaper that keeps the special education community updated on any issues, laws, policies, or decisions being made. Another resource is the Special Education Law blog. This blog discusses all the laws, policies, and guidelines, and it offers advice to parents. Parents can also access the Special Education Guide, which lists extended resources and sites for parents and educators. Understanding special education law and policies can protect the parents and individuals with disabilities. I have included the links to the resources that I have discussed. I have also included my references in the description box. I hope that this video has been informative and helpful. Thank you.